cup of tea by the window in the morning. That's the painting that I'm going to show you how I painted today on the video that follows this intro. But it's really not about the subject. It's really not about the lady sitting with her cup of tea in the morning. What it is about using gouache paint to create an oil, not to create an oil painting, but to create a painting that looks like it might be an oil painting. So why would you want to do that? Well, I think there's probably more than one reason, but the main reason for me is because I've started to become really attracted to illustrations in children's books that have that look. And I think that look might be accomplished digitally, using Procreate or Photoshop. But I'm not sure I can do it. I can do it, but I don't know that I can do it. That doesn't make sense, but it makes sense in my head. But my real goal is because Robin and I right now are working on 2, maybe 3 children's books that we're writing ourselves. So they're self-written, self-published, self-illustrated, nothing big time. But we've done books in the past, and there's a couple of them that I did with acrylic, the illustrations, and there's a couple I did with watercolor. I think I did one with pastel, but I have not done one with gouache. And the problem with oil paint for illustrations is that it has a very reflective surface. So when you photograph it so that it can be used in the children's book, you end up with these little peaks of white from where the paint reflects the light of, the light in the room. And there are ways to photograph it. I know there are professional photographers who can figure out a way to stop that reflective light. I'm not one of them, and we don't have enough money to really afford to pay one of them. Plus, oil paint takes a long time to dry. Gouache is quicker. Anyway, so, and an example of a great example. Oh, I've got a number of them in my mind, but I can't think of the titles except for Polar Express. The illustrations in the Polar Express book are so magnificent, and there's no wonder. I think he won the award. I can't remember what the Illustrator's Award is for children's books. There is an award. Oh gosh, it's almost there. But anyway, so I was thinking, because we've got 2 children's books, maybe 3 that we're working on. I think all 3 of them are Christmas books. So to illustrate them, I think I want to go this route. I want to take the idea of gouache as oil paint, and I'll show you how I did this picture right now. Okay, good morning. Let's try to do a painting with gouache and try to perhaps emulate the look of oil. So to do that, I'm going to first do somewhat of an underpainting. Probably doesn't need to be exactly the way it looks in the end, but just a little bit of a lit area, and just kind of make it grow a little bit around their edges here. Maybe a little bit of brown or raw umber, just to kind of spread it out. So this is not a watercolor technique. This is more of just a painting technique, and I'm just wanting to spread it around. Gonna make this blue and this light blue, the gray, blues and grays. I think blues and grays are going to be my underpainting. Now normally I do underpaintings like in orange and brown, and normally I use acrylic. So the difference will be that this paint will actually reactivate once it dries, which is okay. You just got to be careful. You know, it's better to use something that does not reactivate, something like casein, but not acrylic. You don't want to put gouache on top of acrylic, because acrylic has a plasticity to it, and so that plasticity will cause trouble with a water-based paint. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to matter if the water-based paint is also acrylic, but yeah, gouache is a little bit more like watercolor. So putting something like that on top of acrylic is not a good idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm just creating a whole page of shades of blue and gray. That's all I'm really doing. And I'm not really sure exactly how this painting is going to go, but I do want it to look oil. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is to create an oil painting, an impressionistic oil painting. So let me just define it a little more. That's the intent. Now, what ends up on this page is unsure. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to end up as. But the idea is to create this anything but white. Just a background of anything but white. And what I'm experimenting with a little bit here is what I think is somewhat of an opposite color, somewhat of a complementary color. And we'll see how this works out. We'll see. I think it might be fun. Put it this way. It is something. It's something, it's not nothing. And so just working on the pages. Now on a canvas, you probably would use a lot bigger brush, you know, obviously. In fact, on this one, maybe I should use a bigger brush right now, just to get through this process a little quicker. Slightly bigger brush. Yeah, there we go. Just spread that out a little bit quicker. Not that I'm in a hurry, except for the fact that when I do these videos, I am sort of aware of the time. And although if you've watched any of my videos, you know I kind of don't stick to that. I kind of go overboard sometimes with the timing. Yeah, I can't be like Bob Ross and do them in 27 minutes. Although I've done a few. I've done a few in 27 minutes. So you could probably see what's the result of all of this dabbing and kind of very haphazard, almost abstract approach here. And I'm using blue and white. I'm using like a sky blue and white, and I'm using Payne's gray. So I'm just going darker and lighter and not worrying too much about it. Not giving too much thought to it, other than I think the middle of the page needs to be the brighter spot. So I'll try to keep that in mind, because then you can always paint lighter colors on top of darker colors. Whereas if you only have white, you're stuck with using darker. And then you can do darker in areas, and then put the lighter on top of it in areas. But in this case, I want to do the whole page. A bit of brown right there, I guess. And it's already, I know it's not thick, it's like oil paint would be, or it doesn't, well, oil paint doesn't need to be thick, by the way, but oil paint can be thick. I like oil paint to be thick. That's just kind of the way I look at it. But gouache is not going to be as thick. I just want to create that look. Create an oil painting look with gouache. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. So anyway, it's Saturday, February 1st. It's February, wow. So guess what? Tomorrow is Groundhog Day. So it's going to happen over and over and over again. It's funny. Punxsutawney Phil. Punxsutawney Phil, I saw in a news piece yesterday that Punxsutawney Phil is right 35% of the time. That means he's wrong 65% of the time. That little rascal. He had us thinking we were in on a secret. The secret of the groundhog. He's cute, you gotta admit that. There was a thing in Florida here where they were saying that we had an alligator that could tell if the winter was going to be long or if it was going to be over soon. So imagine that. Alright, so it's not white. We've got a page now that is some gray and some light spots area on it. Just kind of keep messing with it, keep it looking oily, like an oil painting. Okay, there we go. I think that's our beginning. There's our beginning. Now what? Now what do we do? Now that we got that there. Let's use some of this raw umber and put a vertical line here. Raw umber and Payne's gray mixed together. Lay it on really thick. Make that a window. Make that a window out into the world, since there's a lighter area right there. Very impressionistic, very intentionally vague. Very vague. Yeah, it's a little bit of a window right there. A little bit. Looks like a window, right? What do you think? See, now I'm putting color on top of color. See how that orange kind of pops when you put that there? Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks really nice. Let's get a little thinner brush here. If the light's coming from that way, from the left. So I went to the beach yesterday. I didn't actually go down to the beach, but I did sit at the pool area of a hotel and look out at the beach. It was beautiful yesterday. Yeah, it was a nice day. Nice day at the beach, visiting with Robin's cousins. Here we go. Let's sharpen this a little bit. And this over here. Okay. I like this brush, so I'm going to clean it. Now I want to put painting done with the lady drinking tea by the window in the morning. And it's an effort, an attempt to try to paint a gouache painting to look like an oil painting. All right, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.